Okay, after just about 2 years, I finally got 1,000 subscribers, with the majority of them since late February. For successful YouTubers, 1,000 subscribers may not be noticeable. But for me, without a sexy topic, well, maybe I can figure another one out. Nor the ability to put my videos up as advertisement like the Hoover Institute, nor the time or desire to figure out and kowtow to the ever-changing platform algorithm to beg for this and that. 1,000 subscribers are especially precious. There is another significance for YouTubers, because it is the magic number of subscribers that YouTube would share the advertising takes with me. Of course, it remains to be seen whether YouTube would actually do that, as it has repeatedly refused to share the advertising fees of my other channel that carries my Chinese language radio shows in Los Angeles for violating its rules. My guess is that its censors don't like my political views. We'll see how this channel goes. In any case, for those who don't know, the radio station fired me for scheduling an interview with a political candidate. How dare you to introduce democracy to the Chinese immigrants in Los Angeles? They're supposed to vote left now and vote left forever. I know how those working for the station yield to the unsaid rules. Here's the key. I only tell you that you're violating the community rules, but I do not specify which one and where is the violation. That's how Russians overwhelmingly support Putin, and Chinese overwhelmingly support Xi Jinping. See, it's not as hard as you think to enslave a country, right? As long as these sort of things are happening, I'm obligated to talk about it. One day, when the censorship takes on the force of police, like in China, the situation will turn even uglier. If you don't believe me, please search #TheGreatTranslationMovement and read how Chinese program producers support the Russian invasion of Ukraine and their readiness to take in some Ukrainian girls for mistresses. They're probably also thinking about the Taiwanese girls, as the Chinese invasion of Taiwan, an independent country that has never been ruled by the Chinese Communist Party, is rumored to be prepared for this fall. As a word of warning, before you go to the #TheGreatTranslationMovement, please do it on an empty stomach. Back to our topic. I suspended my modern art programming because I simply did not have the time to do it, while having so many problems with my own painting. The number 1 and 2 on the runway are Matisse and Picasso, two giants who will take some serious doing to explain. Still, 1,000 subscribers call for the production of a special episode to show my appreciations. Recently, I encountered some problems on painting light. The easiest way to get some answer is, of course, by studying the masters. Since I wasn't about to travel, a neighborhood museum would have to do. Fortunately, I have options and picked the Getty Center. Talking about painting light, the automatic first artist to see is probably no other than, have you guessed it? Sorolla, Joaquín Sorolla y Bastida. If you've never heard of him, let me just say that Sorolla was a well-known and wealthy painter when Picasso was a struggling nobody smoking opium in the laundry boat. If you've been to his museum in Madrid, you know what I mean. We're going to look at a couple of his garden scenes, both from the Getty collection, painted in 1910 at the Alcázar of Seville, or Reales Alcázares de Sevilla, in South Spain. You probably have never heard of the place, but have seen it in the movie Lawrence of Arabia. If you haven't seen the movie, please see it on YouTube. I checked. There are free versions. Let's first look at this one from far away. I'm sorry about the glare on top, but I don't think that it matters to our purpose. Looking from far away, do you think it successfully reproduces the light? This is the view from the side, without the glare. Sunny day in South Spain, no doubt, right? By the way, South Spain, especially Costa del Sol, is nice. Don't take my word for it. For instance, the Obama family was big on South Spain. Mr. Obama visited Alcázar of Seville not so long ago for some functions. Mrs. Obama vacationed in Estebona at some serious cost to the US taxpayers. Back to our painting. This is the image of the Getty website. Quite different, right? I think that it is far too cool and dark. Let's focus on 3 spots and see how Sorolla presented the light. First, let's look at the bushes. Look at the bushes here, directly under the sunlight. The color are from yellow to highly tinted green. We would think that the shaded areas would be dark green. Looking closely, we see red here, here, and here. Brush strokes here and here are probably just those red colors mixed with green. You know, red plus green equals to brown. The advantage of mixing red and green rather than using earth colors such as burnt sienna and burnt umber is to have such unique brown colors. The yellow colors here and here are meant to be negative volumes, or background, probably. But then we have to explain the grayish area here. In any case, when looking at the overall view, we don't feel the need to explain all that. Let's go back to this detailed view and enjoy all these colored swirls one more time. I certainly need to loosen up. Next, let's move up along the trees and look at the lit side of the front tree. This is a more detailed view. To make my point more obvious, let me heighten the color a bit. The colors in this area would be accomplished by mixing red, shown here, and green, shown here. Of course, red and green produce brown, which is essentially dark yellow. Sorolla buffed up the dark yellow with bright yellow color, shown here. This is what Kandinsky would call a symphony of colors. Let's look at these negative volumes on both the lit side and the shaded side. Obviously, this is truly a small budget production. I don't even have the luxury to ask Getty for some cooperation, such as letting me take photos on a ladder or adjust the lighting to reduce some of the glares, because I went through 24 paintings that day, plus browsing through some drawings and Poussin. I know I should have done less, but I just want to illustrate the point that I don't have the time to deal with the staff I don't already know and face the possibility that I have to go back in another day, on top of the time I'm going to have to spend dealing with them. Maybe one day I'll try some other museums where I actually know some people. They might cut me some slacks, but of course, they may not. In any case, as of now, the time spent on all that is a loss that I cannot afford. All I could do in the foreseeable future is to do whatever the museum guards will allow me. Fortunately, they're quite lenient these days. This is the Getty version. In any case, not dwelling on the difficulties of taking pictures and processing them afterwards, I want to look at these 2 negative volumes here and here. These negative volumes are clearly painted last. We also see that Sorolla used purple colors for the shaded side. I don't want to get too deep into the colors here, except by saying that there is absolutely no reason for the sky holes on both sides of the tree to have different colors. Have you ever seen a purple sky on a bright sunny day? Also, if the lit side of the leaves are essentially yellow and brown, the shaded side should be dark brown due to the lack of direct light. Obviously, Sorolla did not want the value to be too dark, so he used the Renaissance trick called cangente to apply lighter valued green instead. If Sorolla has made the sky hole blue, as we see here, the tree would look like a symmetric vase. Ridiculous, right? At the same time, he wouldn't want this area to be too dark, which would also make the tree look like a vase. So he had to put a sky hole here. Actually, it is not that difficult to choose the color. We see several purple areas in the painting. He decided to make the sky hole purple to echo those areas. Now, with the asymmetric colors of the symmetric sky holes, this does not look half bad. One of the lessons we learn here is to avoid too much symmetry. Lastly, let's look at this group of houses on the right in the background. Typically, faraway places are not as bright as foreground objects because of the atmospheric perspective, which is to say that the light coming from these objects will be scattered away by the air, even in South Spain. If we take out this area, we will see that this entire painting with only horizontal and vertical patterns are quite dull. Sorolla not only needed to paint something in this area to produce a diagonal pattern, he needed to be strong. So strong that he made it the brightest spot in the painting, to force in a diagonal pattern to break the dull L-shaped armature. Look at the gray and brown brush strokes. They're probably there to tone down this area a bit. Also, the sky color was applied over the tinted yellow paint, another act to shrink, therefore tone down the impact of this area. Overall, we see another symphony of colors here presented by thick paint and painterly brushstrokes, like the middle section of the front tree. Please don't let my painter maneuvering talks bother you. However Sorolla painted this, the end result is a phenomenal representation of light and symphony of colors. Probably one could not exist without the other. A lesson I went to Getty to learn. Ready for another painting by Sorolla? This one was done at the Court of the Dances. I'm not going to talk. Let's just spend a little time enjoying it. Almost every time, I can find little surprises in these museums. For instance, it is nice to see this water lily that Monet painted at the age of 76, on loan from Thames Art Investment Fund LLC, whoever they are. It is nice for organizations to lend these precious paintings to museums so we normal souls could see them. My regular viewers probably remember episode 10, season 1, that we looked at paintings by Monet from Musée Monet. This painting reminds me of that visit at Bois de Boulogne. Once in the Met, I saw several French girls walking by the Impressionist gallery. One of them proclaimed quite loudly, "They are all here." I decided to walk on, pretending I didn't understand any French. I consider myself lucky to have chosen America as my home. Although the politicians here are promoting crimes, among other things, and call them progress, as their first stage to implement their communist revolution or fascism, I'm betting that the American people will not take this for much longer. Thank you for subscribing. Your subscriptions have made my day. Let me just say before closing, victory to the fighting Ukrainians. And let that be the beginning of the end of the worldwide move toward communism and fascism. I'll see you soon.